Welcome to Shaking the Table. We back with episode 2 on season 2 of Shaking the Table. I am your host. My name is Wayne,
I'm TeLisa.
and we're your host.
Was that too dry for
Uh,
you?
huh? Just like that every time. We are two entrepreneurs that go through life, seen life, heard life, done life, and now we're just here to talk about it. So at this point, it's just a matter of just us two friends having a great conversation and just talking about pet care, entrepreneurship, and the things that it has taught us and we learn on a consistent basis. So I will start off with the episode with Talisa. What mats your fur?
Oh, so you just threw the ball in my court. Okay. All right. Mad at fur today. I'll say this. Because I really want to talk about it. So I'll just jump into it. A lot of people are getting into the pet care industry, not realizing what pet care industry really is. A lot of people get into it thinking, "Oh, I'm about to play with dogs all day, cute, fluffy," and in this particular case, little dogs all day. I have a now employee. She's graduated from free labor. She came to me initially as a volunteer, and she's been doing well. But the issue that we run into is that she doesn't really have experience with any dogs. She's never even had a dog. So the only canine friends that she has is when she goes to her friend's house. Might have a relative with a dog or something like that. But we have found out that she kind of has a fear of large dogs. Like she'll say like she's not scared of large dogs, but as soon as like there's any type of quick movement or rumble, grumble, like she's like, oh no, I can't do this. And like her whole body is like so we've gotten to a point now where I handle the large dogs from beginning to end. And I asked her, I was like, I can set it up on my booking service to where the days that you work, we only handle small dogs. So you'll be comfortable with that. No, let's do big dogs. I feel like I need to, try to get over this. I'm like, okay, we can try to get over this. So the last time she worked with me, she did have two large dogs. One of them was kind of like, but the last one we did, she did it all the way through. It was a senior lab with fleas. She she did the things. She did the
Mm-hmm.
things, but it took her a very long time to do it because she was just apprehensive the whole way through. I do understand. She's a minor. She's a child, so I know I have to be patient with that. But also, it's just not for everybody. Some
Yeah.
people get into it and they're like, okay, I can be a bather. I can be a bather. Okay, let me try to learn something else. Then we get to the nail trim. Nail trim, to me, is the most dangerous part of the game because that's the quickest way to get bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's my
Especially if you're not,
that's
if you're
my
not,
most dogs. If they're gonna react, they're gonna react to the nail trim.
absolutely.
So and then as a bather, that's your next prep step.
Mm-hmm.
Nail trims, paw pads. Then you graduate to the sandy cut. So we gotta get through this nail trim. Yeah, we gotta get through this nail trim. And you told me you was cool with trying to, work out your fears, but as a mobile groomer, I don't have all day. I don't have all day. Like I could take her to your shop, and she get, she can take a little
She
bit
go,
more.
but she's still gonna figure it out because I mean, even with that, it's like
But she
I
have more
get.
time and more dogs to figure it out with in your shop.
Well,
In
yeah, true.
a
Yeah.
salon, the clock is a little bit more relaxed because people aren't like, okay, the turnaround time is an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on the size of the dog. In a salon, it's like you got this 4 hour window.
Yeah.
So, but that also don't mean take 4 hours to do this nail trim.
No, you still need to get it. I mean, sure, you need to prep and you need to figure it out anyway. You got to get in. And a lot of people, when they get in, I'm like, you're really not going to learn until you get thrown into the wolves, essentially. Like you're not going to learn how to do it until you are knee deep in dog hair and you're just like, all right, now I've come too far. I gotta commit.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
gotta commit to it, you
yeah.
know? But I think with her, I feel like as long as she's willing to do bigger dogs, then we'll you can try to figure that part out. You take your time to get acclimated to it because I mean, we're comfortable with all types of dogs because we literally had no choice but to be okay with all types of dogs. Whether it's a bigger dog that is losing their mind on the table, guess what we're going to do? Groomer's helper and a muzzle. But guess what? It's still going to get done. But then we're a lot older and we have experience. Like you said, age is a factor with it because you really don't realize all the stuff that pet care professionals have to deal with. Because, I mean, just like with entrepreneurship, so many people glamorize entrepreneurship so much that everybody feels like they can be an entrepreneur. Everybody feels like they could be a business owner. Everybody feels like they could run a business and they can juggle multiple hats and titles and all of this stuff. But the fact of the matter is it is not there for everybody. Everybody cannot do what we do. And it's
Also, it's not,
okay.
it's also
You
not
know,
just
so
for everybody to want to be an entrepreneur. Somebody got to be an employee. Somebody
somebody
has
has
to
to,
be an employee.
you know,
And
so
if I was getting paid what I needed to be able to be paid, I wouldn't be no. I would happily be
true,
an employee if I could just get paid what I need to. I don't want to have two jobs. I want to
true, but
be able
that's a
to take
and
3 consecutive weekends off in February and still have my job when I come back.
absolutely. And that's a whole nother conversation because I would still be working in corporate had they been paying what they needed to be paid. But the fact of the matter was, is like I had all of this experience, I have my license, my resume is amazing, but I'm still struggling to make $20 an hour. I gotta plead with y'all to get 80 hours a week, or 40 hours a week, and it's just like I gotta skim here, not take a full lunch, XYZ, but y'all still don't care about us. So a lot of places they make you feel like you're just a number. So then it's just like, well, what other options do I have? I don't want to keep going from job to job to job to job to job. So at some point I'm like, well, let me figure out how to make my own money. And then when you figure out, hey, I'm really good at this and I enjoy doing this, and it's making me a lot more money than what I was making on my paycheck. Then it's like, all right, well, I'm a business owner now. I'm an entrepreneur. Now I'm an entrepreneur, but I feel like a lot of us, especially during COVID, were forced into entrepreneurship because at that point we really saw that people were shitty. And we as millennials, like hey, you're not about to talk to me like that. You're not gonna treat me like that. Like my mom ain't treat me like that, or my daddy ain't talk to me like that. So you're not gonna do that to me. And it's just like it created a boom of entrepreneurs, especially in this space. So, but again, it's just like you really don't realize all the stuff that you got to deal with. And even just on the pet side, just on the animal side when you get into the pet industry. And I'm like, it just sucks that we would get criticized so hard and canceled and talked about and go viral for the wrong reasons, negative press. If people really saw and heard all the things that we had to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Like I've been wanting to put together a YouTube show for being in a salon for so long, but it's just like, is this the type of stuff that people are really going? I mean, people are going to watch it, but is this the type of stuff like people don't really realize this is what goes on behind the scenes? And people are so sensitive about their pets. So it's like they see their pets online acting a fool, and we got to restrain them or we got to
It's
muzzle
like a
them.
dog act every time you drop it off.
Right. Dogs. peeing and pooping everywhere, alligator rolling, biting on the table loops, jumping off the tables, fighting other dogs, pooping as soon as they walk in through the door. Clients going off on the rails, just talking whichever way that they want to talk, arguing with employees, overstepping and overlooking and not adhering to boundaries and the rules and regulations of the shop. Like those are the backhand stuff that we just deal with the pets and the clients. But then you also gotta pay bills, pay employees, get supplies, make sure you pay yourself, handle expenses, extra expenses, unforeseen expenses, expenses on top of expenses because expenses is expensive.
Have you
So
thought about going live on TikTok for like an hour, a random hour out of the day? Just posting up the tripod and just
just doing it. I
yeah,
have
I mean, because that'll tell you whether it's something people will want to see or not.
true.
And you've got your biggest following on TikTok.
You can go live on Facebook. You can go live on Facebook.
You got a bigger following on Facebook? Oh no, that's where the coins is at.
That's where the money's at. Money's on Facebook. So what's crazy is like I didn't even expect a following on Facebook. Like honestly, I don't even post on Facebook. Like whatever I post to my Instagram, post to my Facebook. So like I'll check my Facebook one every once in a while and actually have more followers on Facebook than I have on Instagram. And the only reason I have more on TikTok is because of like the videos and the trends and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, shoot, I'm getting paid off of Facebook depending on, what I post on there. So that could be something. But I wouldn't mind like, hey, an hour or two going live on TikTok and then an hour or two going live on Facebook. But I gotta make sure that they're good dogs too, because otherwise,
But that's not the point
oh,
of going live in the shop.
I know.
That's not the point of going live. And like there are groomers out here that go live with every dog.
Which is
Like
crazy to me,
every dog.
which is wild to me. Like I'll be looking at it like,
Put a camera
y'all
in the
fuck.
bathing room. Go
Oh,
live on TikTok. Put a camera
Fluffy has to say
on the
goodbye. Fluffy has to say goodbye. All right, click.
floor.
All right, I'm about to be fighting with this
Camera on the
dog.
grooming floor. Look, you can go live on all social media outlets at the same time. You going live on TikTok from the bathing room. You going live on Instagram from the grooming floor. You going live at the front door for Facebook. All that shit recording at the same time. What you want to see? We got all the angles today.
You know what? That actually does not sound like a bad idea, honestly.
And it's simple. Just post it up with a tripod. You ain't got to move the camera. You ain't got to tell your employees to talk super loud. Just
But you know
go.
what they do? I,
Whatever
I
happens.
work with a shop full of women. Okay, there's gonna be side conversations and yelling,
Absolutely. Whatever
and it's
happens
gonna
in
be
the shop
loud.
happens in the shop.
Lord, let me say, I always say, like, if we did record a show, it'll be like a mixture of black ink and yeah, yeah, it'll be
That's a
it'll be like black ink in the office. There you go. Like it'll
okay.
be entertaining, but it'll be funny at the same time. It'll be like black ink in the office, like what goes on in the background, and then like the side conversations that everybody. There's always something going on, whether it's somebody wearing like either like a costume or pranks or dogs just running around just acting crazy. Somebody sharing their life story. There's always something happening. They keep me entertained, and I just try to be in my little corner and I just want to groom these dogs so I could go home and make sure that I could pay the bills because everybody don't understand the stress that be going on up here. Because, but you know what? And then what's crazy is like I see all of these, but then again, it could be just online. Everybody online portrays like this. It's so great being me type thing.
I mean, the idea is to put your best foot forward in public. There's always been that, even before social media. Like when you go out, you want people to see the best version of you. So that's all social media is, always the best version. And I think that's the thing that's so unappealing about me. on social media.
Uh,
It's because I don't care. And my mama say that all the time. You don't never care about nothing. You know, I just hate when you say that. You don't care. You know, because I don't. I don't. I say what I want to say. I feel how I want to feel. And I'm
mhm.
going to operate in the way that I want to operate. And that's why I work for myself.
Why don't you go live as often?
Because the sound of my generator is all you would ever hear.
You got to get one of those.
Inverters, they more expensive.
No, 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 no. The lavalier mics. You know
Uh,
how, they were like, oh, you can hear the loud background and the wind and the trees and the rain, and then you put the mic in, and then all you hear is their voices.
maybe. Maybe.
Anyway, so we watched a video. You shared with me a video of a guy and a young lady talking on their podcast, and was just like, the older gentleman said that his generation, because he was not boomer. What's under boomer?
Probably Gen X. He looked like he was Gen X.
Yeah, because it's boomer, Gen X, and then
Us.
Gen Z.
Mm-mm.
Oh, millennial, and then Gen Z. It's confusing. So yeah. So anyway, so his generation said that they messed up entrepreneurship for us,
The black community.
for the Black community, because he said that they regard entrepreneurship as if like they're dope dealers, essentially. And that's not how entrepreneurship is. But I will say,
And it's
I
not.
feel
If
like
you
it's
learn
kind I
about
mean, I feel
business,
like it's kind of true.
if you learn about business in school, it's not. I need a dollar for dollar, 50 cent for 50 cent. It's just
Mhm.
not that way. As somebody who went to school for business, I have a whole ass degree. That honestly was not very useful, but that's a whole nother whole nother conversation. But that's not what business is. Because a lot of people, they'll just be like, oh, I want to make this much money by the end of the year, so they set their prices accordingly, but they don't think about what an actual profit is. And truth be told, if you bought something for $1 and sold it for $1.25, you making a profit. You
Mhm.
know, of course you have to account for, if you're shipping and all of that other stuff. You have to compensate for the expenses. But
Yep.
literally every penny beyond what your expenses are is a profit. So to say that I want to sell something for $150 and I want a profit of $150 per sale is completely outrageous. And
That's
then
crazy.
and then he made the reference of, everybody's always like, and you say this all the time, but you spend your money at Gucci, you spend your money at Fendi, you spend your money at Louis Vuitton. Why you can't spend your money with me? Well, these are reputable companies that have been in business for tens, 20, for decades.
Yeah.
For decades. You just got here, man. Like, we don't know
And
you.
and you want people to spend Gucci, Louis Vuitton prices with you. And in
We
in
don't even know the
in
quality of your service yet. We don't know the
I was
quality
I was just gonna
of your
say that
product yet.
in the pet industry, you have to prove quality and value before you charge any of that. And it will take time and time and time and trial and error to get to that point before you can charge those wild expensive fees. Like by 2027, I'll probably be able to charge
I
$214.48
mean, more
for
than $214
it.
and by
By
then,
then, which is crazy
because the
because it's
economy
like
inflates.
my expenses are going up, but I have to charge accordingly. And I'm like, right now, I can't see myself charging $215 for a groom, but I have to charge $215 or I have to do double the work. But in that mentality of entrepreneurship, yeah, I want to buy this product or this service for $100 or sell this service for $100 and make $100 profit off of that. But that's not the name of the game. Like that's the mentality of the dope dealer mentality because I have to double my profits in order to buy more so I can sell more. And then now I got all of this money, XYZ, right? But when it comes to entrepreneurship, and another thing people don't understand, like you said, is I'll have this product or this service for $100, and if I can sell it for 125 and I make $25 profit, I still have to sell four times as much before I can replenish and say, hey, I can actually do more now. I have to do more. But it's like you gotta have that work ethic to say, I'm going to go above and beyond and keep working and keep, boots to the ground, stay in these trenches and work my butt off before I can really see the fruits of my labor. Because granted, you say, all right, I'm gonna sell this thing for $100. No, I'm gonna sell I bought it for $100, but I'm gonna sell it for 125. Guess what? When you sell two or three and you have that extra $75, now guess what you need? You need somebody to book for you. You need to replenish supplies. You need to pay for gas. You need to pay a bill. You need to do something, which now you have more expenses and also cover that service or initial product that you had beforehand. So then that causes a revolving circle that I need to figure out I need to do more or I need to charge more or I gotta replenish this some way, somehow in order to keep the quality going because at some point you're questioning yourself like, do I diminish quality in the service or the service or the product? Or do I keep the quality the same, work more or charge more, and then go from there? So like there's so many different questions when it comes to entrepreneurship as opposed to, oh, it's just easy. I could be an entrepreneur, I could do this. Like, no, it's not for everybody.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? Again, coming from somebody who spent years going to school and reading books.
Think you're so fucking smart.
It's it's
With
not.
school and everything.
I like having these conversations because it's the only time I use my degree. It's the only
Yeah,
time I use my degree because I don't feel like going into business for myself uses my degree. The things that I have learned in business are not parallel to what I learned in school. But again, like,
say
and that's
that
why I
again.
like, and that's why I like talking numbers because that's the only time I get to use my degree. But that's when you realize that your prices are not in alignment with your expenses because if you have to gradually keep on like of course because of the economy you're going to keep going up on your prices because you need to be able to afford all the things in order to provide all of the services, right? But
Absolutely.
out of the gate what should have been done, which a lot of entrepreneurs including myself did not do, was calculate the expenses. Well, my
Mhm.
expenses changed gradually, not gradually, but like exponentially, if we're being honest, because I went from, and so did yours, because we both went from just grooming in somebody's house because that was the cheapest way to get started. And then we went and bought them vehicles.
We
And,
did.
and the expense
We
report
did.
changed.
It definitely did. Trust
But,
me, the overhead was a lot lower
right.
before we
So
decided to step out on faith.
but that is when we should have reevaluated our prices according to these new expenses. But we had no idea what the new expenses were
Yeah.
until after we started literally rolling. So that's when things should have been like, okay, well, what do you think you're going to be spending? Because
Yeah.
the idea is to be able to do more dogs in less time, also keep the quality of service, and you have to have all of these different products to be able to execute. If we're grooming more dogs, we're getting blades sharpened more, we're using more products. Maybe one day I'll be able to afford an employee. You need to be able to account for that so you don't have to go up on your prices later.
Mhm.
But none of that happened.
No. And even with that, it's like yeah, like you said, none of that happened. And had we done that before, I feel like it would have been harder for us to get the clientele. Because then now I'm like, all right, I
It
start
depends
off.
who your clientele is.
Well, yeah, and true, true. So you got to do a study of the area and whatnot, and
Where you want to go. Because
where you
like
want
you,
to offer your services.
like for you, when you were mobile, it didn't matter what your prices were because you was all over the world.
I was
You was
everywhere.
you was all the way from state line to state line to state line. You was in
And
Savannah
you know what?
grooming. You was
I
you was in Augusta grooming. You was in Douglasville grooming. Like you had the whole
would
state of Georgia
say
locked down with one van. Okay,
that van got me from A to B. Well, I tell you, I'm like, my next appointment ain't but 45 minutes away, which is crazy. Crazy. 45 minutes in between appointments. And
I did
still,
that 2 times and
I
said
was,
no.
yeah,
I drove to a client's house that was an hour and 20 minutes away from my home. I
that's
said,
crazy.
I'm never
Damn.
again.
And I mean, that's the
I
beginning
told
of
that lady,
business.
I need you to understand that I am not coming back. You're too far. You're too
Because,
far.
and when you think about it, that's two dogs that could have been done, two or three dogs that could have been done.
Which is why my service
So,
area is what my service area is. And I have this friend, and like, he's just like, charge the mileage because he works for a grooming company. So it don't matter. I mean, not a grooming company, he works for a moving company. So he's like, just charge for mileage. We charge for mileage. Just charge for mileage. It'll make
mhm,
the difference. Trust me. And I'm just like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to
yeah,
drive as much as people want me to drive. So my service area is my neighborhood.
yeah, literally, yeah.
My service area is literally a 15 mile, no, not even. It's probably like a 10-mile radius of my house.
And I think I did start like that. Like it was, but I was everywhere, and it came down because originally the goal was to have multiple vans all over the state and all over the city. So my idea was let me go ahead and build up clientele all over the place before I could get to that point. And then that just didn't work out. And that's why I had to pivot to getting a shop and dealing with those expenses. But it was the beginning of business. And I feel like a lot of us, we don't realize again all of the things that we have to deal with in the beginning just to try to get to a place where things are working out.
It's a
Like
lack of
say that
knowledge and a
somebody,
lack of mentorship.
yeah. And that's why I feel like what we do now is extremely important because I made these mistakes. I wish I can, like, if I had somebody to tell me in the beginning, bro, you don't even need to go to one person's house and you can make $1,000 a day. All you need to do is just go to get these contracts with high rises or low rises or apartment complexes and sit there. You don't even need to drive around. Like, that would have been the start over play right there. And I was like, why didn't anybody tell me that? Because I didn't have any mentors. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have somebody to say, hey, this is what I'm doing, learn from my mistakes or anything like that. And that's another thing that's super important with becoming an entrepreneur or becoming a business owner is finding somebody that's doing what you want to do or something that you've done before and learning from them and just asking all of the questions as opposed to just saying, I'll figure it out myself. I don't like figuring it out myself because figuring it out myself puts you in debt. And
I told you yesterday, I'm tired of being an independent black woman. Okay.
I'm tired of being an independent black woman too. Shit.
I told you that yesterday.
Like, no, but I'm like, I wish somebody just, I mean, again, in the beginning, I wanted to be a veterinarian, and then I loved being a vet tech, and then I was like, well, what else can I do? And I started pet sitting, and then I was like, oh, I'm really good at grooming. So then grooming became my main means of income, and then I was like, all right, well, let's go ahead and take my talents to the road. So then let me get a van because that was the next big thing was everybody was stuck at home. So let me go get a van and take them, bring my services to them. Oh, I need to have multiple vans on the road. No, bro. No. Bro, like
Wayne
that's
is a dreamer
that's not
for
your
all
business model. Huh?
those. I said
Huh?
Wayne is a dreamer for all those who don't know. Wayne has these big, ambitious dreams, and it's just a matter of being able to execute said dreams without going into debt. Wayne like being in debt, I think, because
You know what? I
he done
I
drove
dislike
himself.
be, I dislike being in debt, but I understand that debt is necessary
He did.
for certain things. I hate it. I hate having to pay somebody something and I'm like, all right, I only made $20 and I gotta give you 18 and I only get to keep two. That's entrepreneurship, you know?
Well,
But
shit. Bullshit.
that's real entrepreneurship right there,
P3 ain't in debt with nobody.
which
Okay?
is amazing. Which is amazing. But what are
So I'm selling
now
Arizona for 99 cents.
now to play devil's advocate, right? Now, because T3 is not in debt with anybody right now because you have hit your goal for where you needed to be and you paid off everything and you're really good with your money and you budget well. Now, T3 may not be in debt with anybody, but TeLisa might be. Now,
Lisa has two things on her credit report currently.
a truck and credit cards.
No, not credit cards. Mm-mm. Them get paid off
Oh,
early.
the school loan.
Yeah.
So the debt is there, but it may not be like the debt that a lot of people may see is like, $100,000, $250,000 type of thing, but it's still something coming out of what you personally make each
Yeah,
week
but
or
it ain't
each,
18.
every 2
It
weeks.
ain't 18 though. It ain't
No.
$18 for every 20.
But it gets to that point.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes it's $18 every $20, or it could be $21 every $20. But it depends on your business structure, it depends on your budget, it depends on your expenses, it depends on your work ethic, and people don't realize like you got to get into this thing with open mind that hey, I'm willing to learn everything that I need to learn so that I can be the best that I need to be. And there's different levels for that. You have your beginners that are doing really, really well. You have your people who just want to shave dogs down all day. You have your people who want the dog, and this is just for grooming, but you have your people who want show grooms, and you have people who want to do just breeding, companies. You have people who just want to do just a certain type of dog or a certain breed of dog or a certain weight of dog. You have all of these different variables when it comes to your business. So it's just like what works for you has to work for you, but you got to make sure that you balance enough all of the other things that come with this word, this four-letter word we call entrepreneurship.
Four letters.
It's four letters.
Four letters. That's crazy. I wish that word was shorter, but it ain't. It ain't.
Oh man. But we say all of this to say, I don't know, what do we say all of this to say?
I wish I knew. I wish I knew. Because talking about entrepreneurship, sometimes you just have no words. Like, because I could sit here and go down my frustrations of what it is to be in business for myself, but I wouldn't trade it.
Mm-mm.
I wouldn't trade it because I can't. I can't work for anybody now.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, no. It's been too
I'm too far,
I'm too
too
deep
far
in.
gone.
I'm too deep in. Like, I wish somebody would tell me what to do. Well, I quit. I can't
Well,
do this.
I mean, essentially,
Now, unless you're
your
paying me
manager
enough.
should be telling you what to do. But
Well,
like,
yeah, my employees tell me
beyond
what to
that,
do, but like my employees tell me what to do, but I'm also still an employee. The only time I feel like I'm the boss is when we're doing team meetings and I'm doing payroll.
mhm,
That's it. Otherwise,
I need to do payroll. Somebody else do payroll.
yeah, I could pay some.
Matter of fact, I'm late on
That,
payroll. Payroll was supposed to be done Wednesday of
that's
last. I have
that's
not done.
it. So that's it. They're like, "Oh, you're the boss." No, I just sign all the paperwork. Okay, I still work. I am an employee of my company, and that's another thing.
My boss is that little girl right there.
That's it. Yeah, mine. She's in daycare.
That's
Okay,
my boss right there. That little
she's
girl.
in daycare. You know why I work so hard? To make sure that she stays in daycare and she gets everything that she needs. Okay. All these little kids that's just running around, these little knucklehead kids, yeah, they get on my nerves because I'm working hard to provide for them. That's another episode we'll get into
But
because
I
you're
tell people all the
about to
time,
trigger me.
my mom, my mama, she'll be like, "Oh, my boss told me da 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 da." Da." I'm like, "Oh, that's so nice. I wish my boss would say things like that. My boss don't give me no break.
Mm-mm.
I can't take days off. Like,
Vacations,
my
nothing. I
boss
got,
looking at me like,
what you mean you want a day off?
"There's money to be made out here. What are you doing?"
Oh, you don't have any dogs to groom today? Oh, I'll give you something to do. Now figure out how to make more dogs and get more grooms.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not gonna take, a nap, a nap, a
Right.
nap. This ain't Europe. Okay. We don't have siestas.
Listen, I would love to schedule a siesta actually. Not gonna
Yeah,
say
me too. I will say when I was mobile, I do miss the days that I can schedule a break in between. I will say that that is one thing I do miss about being mobile sometimes is that I was able to like schedule lunch and schedule like a small break in between appointments.
okay, so I will say this, and then we can wrap it up, right?
Yeah,
The vet clinic schedule breaks. Why
they
can't you?
do.
I
Ooh,
go to Live in Touch every month, and at 2 o'clock, everybody go to lunch.
yeah.
Like everything stops, and everybody go to lunch.
That's how it was at
So
Thrive.
why can't you be like, put the dogs away, everybody go have lunch?
That may be a
Nobody,
culture that, huh?
nobody said you can't.
No. Nobody said that you can't. I think that may be a
It gotta be
culture
an
that we
hour.
can start, like environment that you start working on. If it hasn't been there from the beginning, because then we'll get those people who just show up, or somebody still has to be there, or whatever the case. But you got to start working on that culture because people will show up and pull on the door and call and be like, "Hey, I dropped my dog off. Why are all the lights off and the doors locked? Like, is nobody working on my dog? I need to pick up my dog. I dropped my dog off 10 minutes ago. Is anybody going to be there?" Like,
This place right here, the Department of Labor. Yeah. For
I'm
every
mad that
4 hours, you
I'm
get
mad
50.
you have it like right there. Yeah, for dog groomers, your 15 minutes is in between dogs.
Okay.
Okay.
For
You better walk outside, go like this, come back
every four
inside and get
hours,
that
you get
dog on the table.
15 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, breaks are very
Stay
far
ready
and
so
few in
you ain't
between.
gotta get
You bet
ready.
you
Okay.
better go get you a Pop Tart in between dogs. That's it. Get you a bottle of water or a Pop Tart in between.
Call Department of Labor on you. My
I'm
friends at
call
Happy
them on
Hour not getting
myself.
my
Can I
friends at
report
Happy Hour
me?
not getting their break.
I'm about to report me.
Yep.
'Cause this is crazy. But all right. All right. It's our time, people. Thank you for
Peace.
for watching another episode of Shaking the Table. Honestly, we are we're actually really nice in person. Like I'm not really a mean person. TeLisa's not really mean. Like we've been friends for
Oh,
forever.
girl.
So she's not really mean. She's just very straightforward. But we are building a community of pet professionals that love to come together, give back to the community, and grow relationships with each other. So then that way, we can start to create a more inclusive and diverse community amongst pet professionals that actually like community and working with each other, rather than viewing each other as competition. So if you are looking for a community like that, I recommend checking out Petlanta. You can follow us on Instagram at petlanta.inc on Instagram. Make sure you are following the Pet X Network on YouTube and Instagram. Follow, share, subscribe, and come back next week so that you can watch another episode of us just talking about entrepreneurship. Till next time, have a great day and shake the table.